The men's tennis team lost a couple of key contributors from last season, but this young squad is hoping to hit their stride midway through the season with the heart of the CCIW's schedule looming. All that and more starting now on the Cardinal Report. Welcome to the Cardinal Report. I'm Marc Dahlquist. Joining me this week is head coach of the men's tennis team, Mike Patrick. Coach, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
So, Coach, take us back to the beginning of the season. You guys come into this year minus one of your most decorated athletes of all time in Sam Sweeney. What was the mentality coming in?
You know, I've had a good 3-year run with Sam on the team, and he took the program very far. First time we had gone to nationals. He was a great role model and a great leader for a lot of the guys on the team that had the exposure to playing with him. It was a scenario where they got a chance to grow and see him play and see his work ethic, and I think they learned a lot from it, and was looking forward to a great season. So
even though he was gone, it still seemed like this team was very confident taking to the court. Do you think some of that confidence from Sam rubbed off on them this year? I think so. The CCIW in its history has been a very competitive conference. Not only in the area but in the country. So and as well as the rest of the team, think that all the teams are very beatable on certain days. You know, you guys opened the season with a win against Aurora University, but then you guys head down to Orlando, Florida for a couple of days. A lot of tennis being played in those days. What was the process for the team going through that trip? The progression was I started out with a team that I thought would be a good warm-up team, similar to an Aurora type of team where we would take the upper hand. Then the schedule would get progressively more difficult. I probably wasn't prepared for it to be quite as progressively difficult as what it got. It is a little bit of a change from practicing indoors 3-4 times a week and then going to the outdoor courts, getting used to the elements, getting used to the heat, and most importantly, getting used to being competitive for 4 or 5 hours a day. And nothing can really prepare you for that. So that's what the spring break trip is all about. It's managing your energy, budgeting your efficiency, and it's a good way for them to get prepared for the rest of the season. You know, we've had better weather this year than most, but the new facilities at the Albee Carriers track have got to be helping your team out. The fact that you can actually practice indoors with about 4 different courts as opposed to having to be outside in the elements. How does that help you guys sort of get an edge on the competition early on? Well, it is a blessing to have such a great facility. We've had the honor of hitting at the Res Rec for the last couple of years, turning it from a situation where before we would find like a local club in the area, pay rent on the court time, and have a practice for a very brief time, just maybe once or twice a week. Right. Now we're up to like 3-4 times, sometimes 5 times a week with the guys hitting, optional hitting. So it's something that turns their experience from thinking of tennis maybe as a seasonal sport to a year-round sport, and that's what I'm trying to get across. And the more tennis you can get in, the better it's got to be, especially when you're down in Florida. You guys played, I believe, what was it, 6 different schools in 4 days. That's a lot of tennis right there.
Busy schedule.
How does the team, not only prepare for that, but what do you do as a coach? Do you try and sit some guys out, give some guys rest, or you got to get the body ready for the season that way? Getting the body ready for the season was one of the things. Again, you can't really prepare yourself. At the bottom of the lineup, we did a little bit of changing up at times, and then through some of the aches and pains, we had some different changes towards the latter part of spring break. And even though the team comes back, with losing record, you guys have really seemed to, find some confidence with a very young Cardinal team. What have these young guys been doing to sort of, hit their stride? I think that a lot of the camaraderie in the team building that we had at spring break was an opportunity for them to become better friends, become better teammates, and know that if one guy in doubles is having a bad day, the other guy's there to pick him up, whether it's consoling him with psychology or keeping his head on straight so he doesn't lose his temper. And it's been a good energy. Well, these young Cardinals may have gone through some growing pains, but are building a foundation for the future of this program. That's the focus in this week's What's the Word?
Right now we're just trying to get used to the new lineup with Matt taking off. So, I mean, this is a tough team. We didn't play as well as we should have today, but it still was a good competitive match for us. This is the kind of match that could have went either way. Either team could have won. We could have won 6-3. They could have won 9-0. We could have won 9-0. Anything could have happened. We just didn't play our best today.
We just have to finish. Like we all came out, won the first set. If we do that in conference, it'll be huge. I mean, confidence is everything really for us. So
and everyone's ready to step up. I mean, that's what a team is. Players come and go, and you know everyone's got to move up the ladder and step up, and that's what we're trying to do right now. And we have a pretty solid team. We'll definitely be able to compete in all the matches down the road, so it shouldn't be too much of a problem.
Mike came in a few years ago, and I mean we came from nothing. Like the old coach basically did nothing, so he's getting as many kids as he can. And I mean, the future's bright for us if we can get just a couple more top players through.
Just got nowhere to go but up. I mean, they've seen great players come in. They've seen us do well in conference. Got great facilities. There's definitely going to be a lot more good players coming through North Central.
So, Coach, sort of adds salt to the wound. You guys lose Matt Boguslawski midway through the season for personal reasons, but you still have a couple of seniors on this team, and Eric McKee, Boris Campbell, that are up there really giving these young guys some confidence. What does having those seniors mean to this team?
I think the guys have been on the team 3 or 4 years. They bring a certain amount of confidence, a certain amount of veteran relationship with some of the other CCIW teams, and kind of the way the structure of the season goes. Some of the younger guys who saw a little bit of match play this year are starting to fill in and are really confident coming in, kind of settling into the lower part of the lineup.
Does it make your job a little bit tougher, you know, switching guys around from singles to doubles pairings, and sort of, you know, meshing guys up to where they are in number 1 through 6?
You know, at times it can be difficult. You sometimes say that your tennis game is a reflection of your personality and body style. So,
okay.
You know, finding out what is a quirk in your personality and how maybe your counterpart can help balance you is something that, you know, I've done for several years, but finding that right combination helps. And, you know, sometimes the 2 best players don't make the 2 best doubles players. So there's always needs to be a leader and a follower and understand their roles.
Sort of, you know, how it is, you know, in basketball, you're sort of trying to find that perfect match. That's the way it is for you as a coach with doubles, right?
Absolutely.
So you mentioned the CCIW a little bit earlier. You guys start off CCIW play with a loss to Elmhurst, but this is a really quick season. I mean, it seems like you guys got back from Florida, and within a month, you're already at the CCIW tournament.
Yeah, you know, Anthony's done a great job over at Elmhurst, and he got a few players, and they told a few friends, and has done a great job with his recruiting class. And I think you know, his early days and having some aches and pains and defeats he paid us back this year. So we're looking forward to the other CCIW teams coming up in the schedule in about a week and a half. Yeah, you guys still have some opportunity to get some payback. Who do you think are the top teams to beat this year, you know, in the conference to make it to that tournament? You know, Carthage is always tough. We had a win over them last year. Wheaton always is a different team to play. They've got different matchups, and all the matches go down to either 3 sets or 6-4, 7-5. So, you know, I still think Elmhurst is going to probably win the conference.
So it's, you know, still a chance for you guys to get into the tournament if Elmhurst is, you know, the team to beat. What do you think that this team needs to do in order to get a couple of wins under their belt, you know, to get into that tournament at the start of May?
Well, we've had a lot of close matches. We've had a lot of 6-4s, a lot of 7-5s, a lot of super tiebreakers. A lot of times in that adversity, we try to figure out how to handle our nerves and stay calm through the duration of the match. And I think spring break was a good measure of that. And our last couple of matches, we had a lot of matches that were right there where it could have gone either way.
And do you think that experience might be a factor at all? And I know most of your players have played high school tennis, but to be, you know, a freshman or sophomore going up against juniors and seniors, do you think that affects them mentally at all?
You know, I probably think in the beginning it does. I think that a lot of the mentoring that goes on during the winter, as far as having a few seniors pound on you and then get that experience, and it's like a big brother thing.
Well, Coach, we look forward to having you guys gain some experience throughout the season. Don't go anywhere, because after the break, we'll sit down with 2 players trying to help this year's squad serve up some wins. Keep it right here on the Cardinal Report.